Starting off on our mats, laying down on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. We're going to take our hands over our pelvis, fingertips on the pubic bone, wrists over the hips, making a triangle across the pelvis. For our neutral spine, we want a natural arch under the lower back, tailbone down into the floor, and hands sit parallel to the ground. For an imprinted spine, we're going to use our abdominals to flatten the spine towards the floor, tilting the pelvis up so your pubic bone sits up towards the ceiling. Tailbone still touches the floor but is not pressing down, and your hands are no longer parallel to the floor. This should take work to hold and maintain. Inhale, we're going to shift back into our neutral, tailbone down, hands parallel. And exhale down into imprinted, flattening the spine, pubic bone towards the ceiling. Inhale back into neutral. And exhale down into imprinted. One more time. Inhale back to neutral. And exhale down into imprinted. Good. We're going to shift back into neutral now and look at our T-zone. Imagine a capital letter T across the pelvis. The vertical line of the T corresponds to your pelvic floor, and the horizontal line across the top corresponds to your deep abdominals. We're going to lift the pelvic floor up along that vertical line of the T, squeeze and lift, and relax. Again, squeeze and lift, and relax. Last time, squeeze and lift. We're going to hold, something we can maintain throughout the workout. We're going to draw the hips in and across towards each other along that horizontal line of the T. And then we're going to flatten the center of the T down towards the spine. Again, that's pelvic floor up, hips in towards each other, flattening down towards the spine. This is easier to activate on an inhale. So we're going to inhale T-zone. Exhale, we're going to close the ribs down and in towards the hips. Take your hands now to the bottom of the ribs. Inhale T-zone, ribs expand into the hands. Exhale, ribs down and in towards the hips. Inhale T-zone, lifting through the pelvic floor. Exhale, ribs down and in. Couple more breaths. Using pressure from the hands if you need to press down through the ribs towards the hips on the exhale. Inhale T-zone, exhale ribs to hips. Couple more. Good. We're going to keep our shoulder blades down and back, neck long and chin tucked in. We're going to start off with our bent knee fallouts. So placing your hands over your hips if you need help with the T-zone, over the ribs if you need help with the exhale, okay, or hands by your sides if you're more comfortable doing that. So inhale T-zone, exhale, we're going to let one knee gently fall out towards the edge of the mat, keeping our hips parallel to the floor. Inhale T-zone, draw the knee back towards our center, and exhale, let the other knee gently fall out towards the other side. Inhale, bring the knee back in, and exhale, let the other knee out. Inhale, draw the T-zone in to bring the knee back up, and exhale, ribs to hips. Breathing out. Inhale, T-zone. Press that tailbone down into the floor to anchor your pelvis. Natural arch under the lower back. Inhale, bring the knee back in. Exhale, let the other knee out. Keep going. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Gently rocking towards the outside of the foot, not as far as you can, but as far as you can control without moving the hips. Keeping your hips parallel to the floor and as still as possible. One more each side. Exhale out, ribs to hips. Inhale, T-zone, bring the knee back in. Last one. And resting there. Good, we're gonna move into heel slides next. So take the hands up in front of your ribs, so on top of your bottom ribs there. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're gonna slide one leg out, reaching the toes towards the edge of the mat as far as you can. Close the ribs down and in towards the hips. Inhale, T-zone. Slide the heel back towards your bum. And exhale, other side. Ribs to hips. Slide the heel along the mat. And inhale, draw it back in. Keep that tailbone down. Natural arch under the lower back. Inhale, T-zone, lifting through the pelvic floor, drawing those hips in across and down. And exhale, close the ribs down and in towards the hips. Inhale, T-zone, draw the heel back up. And exhale, slide the other leg out. Inhale, draw the heel in. And exhale, slide the other leg out. Strong emphasis on the ribs to hips, controlling how far you move. So just because you can stretch all the way out without those abdominals contracting, doesn't mean that that's what we're doing. So closing the ribs down and in towards the hips, breathing into it, and bringing the heel back in using the T-zone. One more each side. Exhale, slide out. Inhale, slide in. Last one. Good, and resting there. We're going to move into lift foot now. So once again, you can place your hands over your hips or over your ribs, whichever you feel like you need more help with. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, and close the ribs down and in towards the hips to draw the knee up towards the chest. Inhale, lower, T-zone tight, tailbone down. And exhale, ribs to hips to draw the other knee towards the chest. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, T-zone tight. And exhale, lift. Keeping the knee at 90 degrees. Keeping your pelvis parallel to the floor with the tailbone down. Hips even, not rocking from side to side. Closing the ribs down and in to draw the knee towards the chest, not lifting with the hip flexor. Couple more. One more each side. Ribs to hips. And resting down. Okay, we're going to take our hands under our bum now, palms facing the floor, and reaching those legs all the way out, straightening out along the mat. Okay, this is a glute activation exercise, so we're just creating that mind to muscle connection. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to squeeze the glutes as hard as you can. Your hips should peel away from the floor, still touching but lifting a little higher. And inhale, T-zone, letting those glutes go. Exhale, squeeze the glutes. And inhale, lower. Exhale, squeeze. And inhale, relax. Couple more. Squeezing as tight as you can. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips, squeeze those glutes. Last one, inhale, relax. And exhale, squeeze. Excellent, resting there. We can take our hands out from underneath our bums now, by our sides. Bring our feet back in towards our bum, knees bent, feet hip width apart. We're going to start off in our neutral spine with the tailbone down, and we're going to do some pelvic curls. So from here, inhale, T-zone, press the heels down into the floor, squeeze your bum tight, and exhale, we're going to move into imprinted spine, pressing one vertebrae at a time, in towards the floor, and then peeling away up towards the ceiling. Inhale, holding at the top, T-zone tight, and exhale, curling all the way down, one vertebrae at a time, pressing into the floor, through imprinted, down to that tailbone, into neutral spine. Inhale, pause at the bottom, and exhale, curling all the way through. Squeezing those glutes continuously through the exercise as hard as you can. Pausing at the top and the bottom for the inhale, and moving through the exhale. Gently rocking through the lower spine, curling all the way through, pressing those heels down as hard as you can to help squeeze the glutes. Close the ribs down and in to use the abdominals and to take the pressure off your lower spine. Inhale, hold at the top, exhale, curling all the way through, moving at your own pace with your own breath. If you're feeling this through your quads, you might need to take your feet away from your bum. And if you're feeling it through the hamstrings, you might need to bring your heels closer to your bum. Ribs to hips on the exhale, squeezing those glutes, T-zone tight. Good, we're going to do one more curl up and holding at the top. Inhale, T-zone, we're going to open the knees slightly as far as you can without dropping those hips. And then exhale, bring them back in line with the hips. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Not together, but back in line. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Good, keeping the glutes squeezed as tight as you can. Pressing those heels down through the floor, ribs to hips, T-zone tight. If you're feeling it in your lower back, just lower those hips down a little bit and squeeze the glutes harder. If you're not feeling it in the glutes, you might need to press up even further. Shoulders down and back, chin tucked in, neck nice and long. Pelvic floor up, hips in towards each other, scooping down towards the spine. Ribs to hips on the exhale. Couple more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Good. Inhale, pausing at the top, and exhale, curling all the way back down. Good. Inhale, pausing at the bottom. Okay, from here, we're going to curl up. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, squeeze those glutes, curling all the way through, up as high as you can manage. Inhale, T-zone. We're going to shift all the way into one leg, pressing through the heel, squeeze through the glutes, and then draw the knee in towards the chest on the exhale. Inhale, lower, press the heel down, transfer the weight across, squeeze the glutes, and inhale, bring the knee back up. Hold on. Exhale, lift the knee. Inhale, lower the foot and swap the weight across. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. Switching the weight. Press the heels, squeeze the glutes. Keep those hips parallel. Make sure that you're not dropping or lifting through one side. Inhale, lower and switch the weight. And exhale, lift. If this feels like too much for your glutes and you're feeling it through the lower back, you can lower the hips down to just above the floor and still keep going with that movement. Press the heel, squeeze the glutes, lift the knee. Inhale, lower, switch, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, T-zone tight. Exhale, switch and lift. Couple more. Pressing the heels, squeeze the glutes, chin tucked in, ribs to hips. Last one, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, curling down. And relax. Good, we're going to turn on our sides now. All right, so bottom arm extended long or bending underneath the head, whatever is most comfortable for you. Our top hand we're going to bring to our hip here, shoulder blades down and back. Bending the knees forward and feet back in line with the rest of the body. We're going to start off with our clams. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, squeeze those glutes as hard as you can. We're going to open the knee as far as you can without letting the hip roll back. So draw the hip down and in. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Squeeze those heels together, shoulder blades down and back. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Ribs to hips. T-zone tight. Pressing the top hip down away from the armpit to keep your spine nice and straight. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Couple more. Squeezing the glute to lift the knee. Keep your hip forward, down and in. Ribs to hips. T-zone tight. Pressing your bum all the way back behind you. Couple more. And resting there. Moving into kickouts. So now we have inhale, T-zone, open the knee. Exhale, we're going to extend that leg out along the mat, reaching out through the toes. Inhale, T-zone, feel those heels together. And exhale, lower the knee back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Kick the leg back as far as you can without rolling backwards and up as high as you can without sinking down through the waist. Press that hip away, lift with the glute. Inhale, find those heels. Exhale, lower. Ribs to hips. Squeeze the glutes. Couple more. Shoulders down and back. Neutral spine. Good, last one here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend, sliding it back. Inhale, heels, and exhale, lower. From here, we're going to move into our circles. So we're going to open and extend the top leg whenever you're ready. Press that top hip down away from your armpit, keeping it still. Inhale, T-zone. And exhale, start circling the leg around, reaching through the toes. Imagine you're trying to draw circles on the wall down below. Aiming to keep your torso and pelvis as still as possible with minimal movement. Making the circles as big as you can, but as small as you need to really isolate the glute. Breathing through it nice and easy. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Keeping the leg back in line with the body. So you're one straight line. Couple more. Good, and resting there. Last one on this side is called rectangles. When you're ready, pressing that top hip away to isolate the glute, we're going to open and extend the top leg and reach it all the way out. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, slide the leg back and up. Inhale, forward and down. Exhale, back and up. Inhale, forward and down. Make the rectangles as big as you can, but as small as you need to. Making those long lines long and straight, corners nice and sharp. Exhale, back and up. Inhale, forward and down. Couple more. T-zone tight, pressing the hip down and away. And resting there. Good, we're going to do the other side now. So once again, laying down on the mat, bottom arm resting underneath the head, top hand on the top hip, pressing the hip down and away from the armpit, shoulders down and back. Bring the knees forward, but feet back in line with the rest of the body. We're going to squeeze those heels together, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, open the knee as far as you can. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. So open the knee, close down the hip. Squeeze the glute. Press that hip down away. Spine should be nice and straight. Ribs to hips on the exhale. T-zone tight on the inhale. Squeeze those heels together. Squeeze the glutes. Couple more, breathing through it. And resting there. Moving into our kick-outs. So from here, inhale, T-zone, open the knee. Exhale, extend that leg out nice and long, reaching through the toes, sliding it back. Inhale, heels. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Squeeze those glutes. Inhale, heels. Exhale, lower. Keeping shoulder blades down and back, ribs to hips. T-zone tight, spine neutral. Pressing your glutes back towards the wall behind you, reaching your toes out long towards the wall below you. Couple more. Kicking that leg out as far back as you can without rocking back, as high as you can without sinking down through the waist. Couple more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend, ribs to hips. Inhale, heels. Exhale, lower. One more. And resting there. Up next, we've got our circles. So pressing the hip down and away. We're going to open and extend the top leg, T-zone tight. And exhale, start circling the leg around, reaching through the toes. Imagine you're drawing with your toes on the wall below. Breathing through it nice and easy. T-zone tight, ribs to hips. Squeeze the glute to move the leg. Making the circles as big as you can, but as small as you need to. Minimize any movement happening through the hips and the torso, aiming to isolate the glutes. Couple more. Breathing through it, pressing that hip away, shoulders down and back. And resting down. Last one on this side, we have our rectangles. So hand on the hip, pressing the hip away from the armpit. When you're ready, open and extend the top leg and reach through the toes. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to slide the leg back and up. Inhale, forward and down. Exhale, back and up. Inhale, forward and down. Great work, guys. Moving the leg as much as you can, keeping your hips and torso as still as possible. Squeeze the glute to control the movement. Making the lines straight and the corners sharp. Inhale, forward and down. Exhale, back and up. Aiming to get that leg right back on the exhale. Couple more. And resting down. Good. From there, we're going to move into our glute stretches. So laying on your back, we're going to cross one ankle over the opposite thigh. You can stay here and press the knee away from you, or you can reach through and bring the knees close towards the chest. Gently relaxing the stretch and switching legs. Other ankle across the opposite knee, either pressing the knee away or reaching through, grabbing onto the leg and driving in close. Gently letting out of the stretch there. We're going to roll over into child's pose. So knees slightly wider than the hips, feet together. Take the hips back over the ankles and walk the hands out as far as you can. We're going to walk the elbows back towards the knees and draw the tailbone down towards the toes. And gently lifting up out of the stretch. Good. All done.